This episode of Bourbon on Ice, presented by your friend Frosty and your bartender Mike Whiskey, is brought to you by the Cape Media Center of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. The views and opinions expressed during this podcast do not necessarily reflect those of the Cape Media Center. Listener discretion is advised.
I hear another terrible storm is on the way. Soon we'll all be frozen and go to a deathly demise of death.
I think you're just over-exaggerating a little.
This is me. When have I ever under-exaggerated?
That's fair enough. Roll the music.
Welcome, listeners, to Bourbon on Ice,
Where we talk about everything nerdy, like gentlemen.
Join us every week for our local Cape Cod take on, well, everything.
Laugh, cry, be confused, and laugh some more.
I'm your friend Frosty.
And I'm your bartender, Mike Whiskey.
Stay tuned. You think they'll like the episode?
Oh, they'll definitely love it. Hello and welcome.
Welcome and hello.
I totally stole your thunder there. You were about to say something and I cut right in.
Yes, you did. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Not really. I don't talk a lot while we're on these podcasts. I mean, I put my 2 cents in, but you are definitely the dominant voice.
I'm sorry, were you saying something? I was thinking about everything I wanted to say.
My case in point.
There was about 10 seconds where I wasn't talking. It was very dark and panicky.
Yes, it must be awful to live inside the mind of Frosty.
There's an excess of rubber bands in here. Up in here.
Ah, okay.
There we go. Whiskey?
Yes.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. There appears to be the sound of snoring coming from, nearby.
Oh yes, Elder Nerd is napping.
Elder Nerd is napping.
Yes. It's about that time.
As hilarious as that is, and adorable as these marauding creatures are, hello Rosie, and hello Moify, we gotta get our own place.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
Oh, she's clawing my leg, and I'm wearing PVC. Welcome everyone to another episode of Bourbon on Ice. I'm your friend Frosty.
And I'm your bartender, Mike Whiskey.
That's Rosie, that's Murphy, and we'll ignore the other one. That may be the earliest we've mentioned Elder Nerd and used the sound effect, actually, in an
maybe.
episode. But you know what? I'm actually thinking about this, Maybe we should think about finding our own space.
I think it would do us well.
I mean, years ago, Miyazaki, when he started making his amazing works, he worked with someone else.
Yeah.
And then he founded his own studio, and after 3 productions, he said, that's it, we should fold the studio, because no studio should make more than 3 productions. And how glad we all are that people talked him out of that.
And how glad we all are that he is actually a workaholic, and every time he retires, he comes back to do one more.
Until, he couldn't come back.
Yeah.
The day that he could not come back, and he's actually retired. The great retirement.
In the sky. Is he dead?
Yes, he is dead.
Okay.
I'm sorry, we just...
Oh, no. I didn't know about this. Oh,
yes,
man.
I'm sorry. Hang on, to the internet, away.
Whoosh.
Oh, wait, no, I'm wrong. He's alive.
Oh, you are wrong. Oh, rock on.
That rarely happens, but this time I'm actually happy.
To
There's
be wrong.
still a chance that I could meet him.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's slim to none.
very, very slim. I mean, we are talking one of his movies actually flopping slim to none.
Yeah.
But he has retired again, and this time for the last time.
So he says.
So he says.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Which means we won't see it.
That's true.
That is very true. I actually just the other day did a miniature Miyazaki marathon. I watched Ponyo, Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away, and My Neighbor Totoro all in a row.
Oh, very nice.
I had weird dreams that night.
I bet you did.
They were very colorful, but there were a lot of Asian people.
I have a couple others that you didn't watch. I got Princess Mononoke,
Love that one.
and I have The Cat Returns as well.
Do not love that one.
Do you not love that one?
Cats.
Cats? Oh yeah, you're not a cat person.
I am not a cat person. But there was an actual cat person in that one.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I just found that one weird. I should have watched Kiki's Delivery Service. I mean, who among us cannot relate to, being a young teenage girl flying on a broom delivering baked goods? No, seriously, who out there? Seriously, I'm sure there's someone. Anyways, there's a big storm coming up.
Yeah, I heard about that.
We're gonna have to duck. It's gonna be crap out here. But
Well, it'd probably be rain and a lot of wind.
they're calling it a wintry mix, which means it's gonna be that awful slush falling from the clouds and getting into your boots and going underneath the cuffs of your gloves, just finding that special place where it can make you miserable all day. The big wet ones that go right down your neck, in between your jacket and your sweatshirt, and just land on your bare neck. Or they just go down the back. I've been outside entirely too much.
I love the wind. I remember one time I was outside in what was it? It was one of the September hurricanes. And I had this big yellow rain jacket, and I was actually being lifted up by the gusts of wind. It was so much fun.
You should have brought an umbrella, opened it, tried to catch a thermal.
Whee! I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
I love that line. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it, because no one out there is going to watch this. We Will Rock You, the musical.
Okay.
Yes, there is a musical. It's a jukebox musical all about Queen, but they make so much fun of themselves. It's set in an apocalyptic future where one corporation has taken over the entire world and controls all music and lifestyle and pop culture.
Amazon?
No, believe it or not, GlobalSoft. And all the freedom fighters have descended underground and thrown off their old names and taken on the names of famous ones they found in posters and graffiti on the walls. We meet Charlotte Friggin Church and Cliff Richards. But then we are introduced. It's always this big black guy who's slightly overweight. That's the role, the character. He introduces himself to everyone as the meanest, most diabolical, most evil mother effer that ever existed. He is Britney Spears! Of course, then you have to pause because the audience is losing it at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reasonable.
Of course, then he dies tragically, and the line gets said, Britney Spears died to save us. If that musical is still out there, maybe they could, recast that as, Justin Bieber died to save us. I'd laugh hard at that one. That line always gets a lot of laughs. Anyway, I want to go back to that point that we had earlier. Maybe we should think about branching out. What would we could get an office?
We could get an office.
Something warm, nurturing, with a really kick-ass sound system.
That's not an office. That's a stereo.
Why not?
We could have a stereo.
Yes, all I'm saying is that if we have an office, we need a complete surround sound.
Oh, yeah. Like a proper surround sound. So that way, if we listen to like ELO, it does the little whoosh from one side to the other.
I want it so that if we're watching something on a television that we'll surely put in at least a 36-incher, then, we'll be confused when we hear people opening doors that don't exist or firing guns, and we'll say, wait, that was right over there.
I think we need set up for streaming so that we can live stream.
Yes, that is important. And a foosball table.
We got one downstairs.
Excellent. We'll bring that to the office.
Yes, we will.
Okay, so we have the surround system and the foosball table and a setup for streaming. We should really make sure that we have, the essentials in there. A desk, some soundproofing, a workstation or two, a bar, and we should also make sure that there's a mini fridge in there.
Yeah, it all sounds good.
You're not going to stop me about the bar?
No, I'm not going to stop you. We are Whiskey and Frosty. Our show is called Bourbon on Ice. When we have guests, we need to be able to entertain.
Yes. Bar nuts, pretzels, and of course, at least 120 bottles of topical booze. Top shelf. That could get really expensive.
That is very expensive.
We could just get the empty bottles, fill them with water, and say, "Oh no, that's not. We only break that up for special occasions."
We'll spare every expense to make it look like we spared no expense.
I like it. What a brilliant idea. And you came up with it, so I could say he's the cheapskate, not me. I wanted to actually help people and present an image of warmth and nurturing.
I think we should have a podcasting setup so that we can have, or a studio setup so that way we can have maybe like 8 people around the table.
That would be great. We could get bands. We could get those gay people that I'm always hanging out with. We could get, local celebrities like... Drawing a blank.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank too.
Is Siobhan Magnus still around?
I didn't even know who that was.
And Pat Carroll has passed away, God rest her soul, so we can't have that. Are there any famous writers out here? What am I saying? This is Cape Cod. There's at least one.
There's quite a few.
But I can't already interview myself. Oh, right, you. Well, I can't interview you.
I'm not a famous writer.
And don't you forget it.
Wow.
Oh, trust me, if you come out with a bestseller before I do, there will be hell to pay. like frickin' hell raining down.
You may not want to read that manila folder then.
Let me see this thing.
Remember that superhero story I texted you about and you said you were sold?
Huh. I see.
That's the first draft of part 1.
I see. Oh, look. Flames. Surely
Open
they must be
flames.
fed. Whoosh. Whoosh indeed. Crackle, crackle, whoosh. Speaking of flames, I was actually thinking, I did just mention I saw Howl's Moving Castle. I love the fact that in the American version, I'm sitting there saying, like, that voice sounds remarkably familiar. Who is it? It's Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
Billy freaking Crystal.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. I'm sorry. It did not work. He was the great voice of Mike Wazowski, but playing a mystical moving fire in an anime film, it didn't really work. It was kind of odd.
I liked it. I thought Hayden Christensen did a good job as well.
Yes, they did. But all I could hear was Mike Wazowski's voice. I just keep thinking, you and me together. Rosie's attacking my hand now.
Yes. Lick, 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 lick.
She's so cute. Yes, she is.
Hello, sweet baby.
All right. So back to this mystery office of ours, which I'm dead set on finding. I actually think I know a couple of places. I've seen some of my routes. But...
And that's a big but.
Yes, it is. My size 36 butt. Anyway, will we really have enough room to put in the slide?
We may have to move the circus if we want the slide.
I want an actual slide. I want a place with 2 floors, so for no other reason than we just climb up the stairs and go down a slide.
What if we look for some place with a loft and install the slide from there?
No, then we have to get a fireman's pole.
Why are you against that as a gay man?
Mostly because of static cling. When you go down the slides and all of a sudden you touch something and ow! Static electricity.
Zap, 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 zap.
Yeah. I mean, a metal one, but what's going to happen in the colder months? That'll be really unpleasant.
But our office will be warm.
Right, we should also have heating.
Yes.
Yes, we should have
That-
heating.
That's like a basic necessity thing.
Well, if we just
We
jogged
can't-
before we started the sessions. That helps?
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we by this point? We need a slide, a circus, a foosball table,
We got the foosball table. We got that already.
the bar, a couple of desks, maybe a door.
A door would help.
A door would help. Huh.
A double-duty door to keep out all the adoring fans.
I just realized something we haven't even considered.
What's that?
Have we considered putting in a bathroom?
I mean, I'm fine with the bush outside, man.
Let's bring for a porta potty. No reason to be completely classless.
That's true. It's a 2-story double wide.
The Cape Media Center, located in Dennisport, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, is a non-profit community media center and the public access TV station for the towns of Barnstable, Yarmouth, Dennis, Harwich, and Chatham. Our mission is to build community through media, enhance democratic communication, and facilitate free expression by providing these towns with a state-of-the-art media resource center. Members can become trained in our video and audio equipment and produce their own media content. Membership includes training classes, access to our field equipment, studios and facility, as well as airtime. Podcasters and music producers can share their content on our website. For more information, visit capemedia.org.
This episode of Bourbon on Ice is brought to you by Market Street Bookshop in Mashpee Commons, located at 31 Market Street, Mashpee, Massachusetts. Embrace diversity and find support for local authors and artists at the Market Street Bookshop, where your favorite new read is just a browse away. For more information, give them a call at 508-539-6985.
So I think we're neglecting something very important.
How important?
Vitally important.
How vital can it be? Is it more vital than the slide and the bar and the actual porta potty?
We need a weapons rack. Where else am I going to place my swords and my spear?
Whiskey?
Yeah.
I have seen the swords.
Yes.
There's one right there.
Oh, yes.
Why do you have a spear?
Who doesn't have a spear? It's one of the... it's the oldest weapon. I mean, rock on stick. Make pointy, jabby, jabby. And then later on, we put metal on stick. For better pointy, jabby, jabby.
Please stop saying that.
Okay, I won't say jabby, jabby.
I'm look. Oh my gosh, that's it, isn't it?
That is it?
That's it, across the...
7 feet long.
I thought that was like a candle holder.
Nope, it's a boar spear.
A what spear?
A boar spear.
A what spear?
A boar spear.
We don't have boars. This is Cape Cod.
I
What are you going to use it on? We don't even have wild pigs. We have many pigs. We have also sheep and goats, but those are on farms. And if you go spearing those, I think you'll be subject to a lawsuit.
Perhaps. But I mean, I didn't get it to really use it, really. I mean, I got it to have it.
For what? Profile photos? Cosplaying as Maui? Tell me a practical situation in which you need a spear. A boar spear. That thing's taller than both of us.
It's 7 feet tall.
That's taller than Robert.
Yeah.
Shorter than Omos the wrestler, but taller than Robert the ginger giant. Oh my gosh.
Do you want to hold it and get a feel for its heft?
I kind of do.
Hold on.
He's getting the spear. Oh my gosh. My podcasting co-host is insane. But he's also armed, so I can't complain. Oh my gosh, this thing is so... Lowering it. Hang on, I just want... Whoa, that is sharp.
Yes, it is.
Jab, jab.
It could be sharper, but
Are you going to sharpen this thing?
I probably will at some point sharpen it up.
For what? What are you going to... We don't even have dolphins out here.
But we do have sharks.
Sharks are the gentle giants of the deep who only want to live their lives and have you leave them alone.
They do like tourists, though.
And I don't, which is why we feed them to the sharks. Okay. Are you just gonna, go outside and practice throwing this thing?
Oh, it's not really a thrower. You see, the boar...
That's a javelin, silly me.
It is a javelin. No, the boar spear is more of a, you set it against a charge. So what happens is the boar, or a horse, or a bear, or...
We don't have bears.
Or a moose.
We don't have moose.
Or an elk.
We have those.
They could charge you and be very mean and vicious. Most of the males, or a mama bear. And what you would do is you would plant the butt end of the spear into the ground and then lay the spear flat, well, not flat, but angled into the charging animal. And it would kill itself.
You will never use this.
Probably not.
Oh my gosh. You've got those random women who buy a pair of shoes on an impulse that they saw shining in a shop window. You've got people like me who say, I need one more book, even though I don't need more books.
You
but
got
another book.
Who say, I need one more tattoo, even though their body is covered in tattoos.
That is me, yes. You bought a frickin' spear!
Yes.
Okay, I'm gently handing this back to you.
Gracias.
Watch out for the actual case full of weapons.
Full of more weapons.
There's a flintlock in there.
Yes, there is.
Okay, so we need a weapons case. Apparently, I have my katana and I have 2 swords upstairs, my ceremonial sword and my katana, and I think I have some throwing stars scattered around somewhere.
Cool.
No, not cool. Okay, actually, I have a story about that.
Oh, you got a story?
Yeah.
Oh, please tell us.
Okay, so years ago, when I was in Japan, the first time, I was how do I put this? I was a teenage douche because I wanted to do the one thing that everyone does when they visit a foreign country. I wanted to buy a weapon so I could bring it back and put it on my wall and have people look at it and go, wow, you're so cool. You have a weapon on the wall.
It's what we call edgy these days.
Back then, it was just called being a douche. I'm sorry, but if you have if you're just like some teenager who is not trained in it, is not invested in martial arts or anything, you just have weapons hanging on the wall of your room, you're a douche. I said it, and I was one. The first step is admitting it. So anyway, I was in Japan, and of course, I wanted to buy a sword. So I bought a sword, and I said, this is so great. Then, my next trip was to China. And I said, you know what? When I was in Japan, I bought a sword. Now, I want to buy a sword in China. It'll be a thing. Every country I go to, I'll buy a sword from. Right. So I was out in Yangshan, Guilin Province. Lovely little place. Out in the countryside. I learned to cook there.
Oh, lovely.
On a walk and make dumplings and all sorts of things. I biked. I climbed the mountains. I boated. It was wonderful. I felt at peace. And then I bought a sword. I'm just going to paint a picture. This is a village that caters entirely to backpackers and travelers. So they set up stands at night where you can buy everything from bootleg DVDs to really cheap tattoos.
Bootleg DVDs and cheap tattoos are the best.
I, of course, wanted a sword, so I went and bought what was called a ceremonial sword. It had its own sheath, it had tassels on the end, it was big. Of course, then the question comes up, how are you going to get this thing home?
You've told me this story now, I remember.
I didn't realize what a hassle this would be, because I didn't think that far ahead, so I went to the post office. And the post office says, we will not ship this back. Okay, I went to what passed for, an international shipping office, like their version of UPS. They wouldn't ship it back. And it is late at night, and I am wandering the streets of Yangshan Province with the sword. And my guide is with me, one of the teachers is with me, and they're like, why did you buy that thing? I said, because I thought I could send it home. I'm sitting there with it, sitting in front of me next to the fire. I said, that is the last time I ever buy weapons in a foreign country. Beth, one of the people on the tour with me, looks over and said, that's a really funny statement when you think about it. From now on, I'm only buying my weapons from America. Okay, but the story doesn't end there, unfortunately, because I had to carry this thing with me. This was like the halfway through our trip.
Yeah.
And every 2 or 3 days, we jumped on another form of transportation, and mostly it was planes. But the thing is, you cannot get on the plane holding a sword.
No, you can't.
You cannot. So I tried to check it, and they made me declare it at the airport as a weapon, that I had purchased an actual weapon. I'm like, but it's not a weapon. It's gonna go on my wall.
Ceremonial. It's decorative.
So what did they do? They wrapped it in cardboard, and they had me put it through the straps of my backpack, and I had to carry it, and I had to check it as purchased arms. I get off the plane and I check it again. I get to the hotel, and I'm walking through the streets of Shanghai by this point with a sword. I get to the hotel, and they say, we need you to unwrap this package. We say, wrap the package back up. The next day before I left, they said, we are not comfortable with keeping arms in this hotel. You'll have to take it with you. And I couldn't carry the open sword through the streets of China, so they made me wrap it back up in the cardboard and strap it to my back, and I had to walk through Shanghai like the frickin' Highlander. And this continued. Getting on the plane, please check your weapon. Getting off the plane, let us check your weapon. Walking around, do you have a weapon? It needs to be concealed. Walking into the museums, walking into the boardrooms of the places. I had a camera in one hand, snacks in the other, and a sword
on your back. That ought to learn you.
To this day, I have never bought another weapon. I'm like, I didn't even put it on the wall. I'm like, you're a symbol of shame now. Here, into the attic you go.
I need to see this sword now.
One day I'll bring it down. One day I will bring it down from the attic, and hell, I'll give it to you. It will go to the office, and we'll put it in our weapons rack. Yes, but that is why I no longer buy weapons in foreign countries. The shipping, it's a nightmare.
Among other things.
Wait, we might not need weapons. What if we brought a dog? An attack dog?
Named Charles.
Well, I was thinking, how about Murphy?
Murphy?
Yeah. He's got the barky, the growly. He's also pretty big for a beagle.
He interrupts us enough as it is.
We do a lot of room. We've edited him out of so many podcasts.
Yes.
Okay, I've got a Pomeranian.
Oh wait, you're serious. Let me laugh harder. He's so Frosty sent a
message to our closest friends
of me with the spear, and one of them says, "First gloves, now a spear. He's planning something. Keep an eye on him in the studio."
And Robert says, "Hey, Whiskey, is that a spear, or are you just happy to see me?"
Why can't it be both?
What's that old show? Son of the Beach. Is that some driftwood in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? Reaches into bathing suit. Actually, it's a piece of driftwood. All right. So, I guess Kiwi, my adorable guardian Pomeranian, is ill-advised.
Yeah.
I have 2 other greyhounds. We could, potentially throw them at intruders. They're Italian greyhounds. They're small.
Yeah.
I can't see them causing much damage unless we get them to lie across an open doorway and unsuspecting invaders trip on them and fall into Home Alone-esque traps.
Oh! I saw this on the internet.
Yeah, what'd you see?
We get a Roomba, right? And we stick a knife on top of it. And if someone breaks and enters during the night, it activates.
Our own killer robot. How delightful. We'll call him Stabby.
And this was part of the meme as well. We get an automatic playlist. Welcome to the jungle.
which is why we'll need the surround sound.
Exactly.
Also, we should get those lights that turn red.
Red lights are all right. They're good for your night vision.
We should make sure we have a nice table like this for D&D sessions.
Ooh, it'd be wonderful if we could have Dungeons and Dragons at the studio as well.
We
could
like
record those.
We could definitely record those. Now that we've been accumulating some equipment to start taking our show online, which we are doing, people. We're going to start not online. I mean, on YouTube, visual stuff.
Yeah.
We want to start shooting some videos. We could actually do that. It's just, I'll have to put on clothes.
You're clothed right now.
Well, that's because it's your house.
That's true.
No follow-up questions?
None.
Okay, moving on.
I know better.
So our dream office is shaping up to be pretty good. Is there anything that we are actually missing?
Snacks. Oh, wait, you mentioned snacks. The pretzels and the...
Well, that's bar food. That's for guests. We're talking about stuff for us. I'm thinking that we could possibly, reach out to the people at the Jerky Emporium.
True.
And have them, ship us stuff.
That's an option.
The place I want to go is actually close to Peterson's Market. We would live like kings.
We could.
Also, there's a pizzeria somewhere around there.
It's in Peterson's, I thought.
Right. Ever since I started this job, I've started going to more places that I have never been to before.
Right.
And all I can tell you is I hate it.
The Cape is a lot bigger than you thought, isn't it?
Yes, I thought the Cape was small. Until you start going to literally every house.
Every possible nook and cranny.
Every stinking one. I was in A-Town last night. Yes, that's what it gets called sometimes. A place in Yarmouth where all the streets begin with an A, and it's nothing but duplexes. And all of the boxes are on the houses.
Oh.
Aspen, Alpine, Andrea, Abbott, and... Yeah. We refer to it, because it's an unpleasant area to have to deliver in as, oh, you have A-Town.
Not A-Town. A-Town.
A-Town, yep. Ugh. I had to do that yesterday during the rain on the St. Patrick's Day parade day.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. As I was driving around today, there was a lot of wet candy on the side of the roads. All right. I think we may have everything we need, except we have not discussed one vital thing.
What's that?
I don't think we have any chairs. Beanbags?
We need at least 2 beanbags. But we should have decent chairs.
Or if we decide that the entire office should be, in Japanese style, we can sit directly on the floor with those tiny little tables.
Ooh.
And mats.
Those are really nice in the winter because they have like the nice little weighted blanket over the top of the table, and you sit under the blanket. It's really nice.
I'll probably turn around one day and be like, Whiskey, where are you? We have to just start the podcast. And you're in the corner with the rake at the sand garden, wearing a kimono.
Don't tempt me.
I actually meant this as a joke, but now I can see it in my head.
Yeah. That's why don't say things you're not prepared to see the reality of.
Now I'm worried.
Hey, good throw, Frosty, good throw. Now, go long.
You really sent it, Whiskey. Now it's in Miss Adams' yard.
Yeah, that's a shame. Well, let's go get a new ball.
New ball? Why don't you just climb the fence and grab it?
I ain't jumping that fence. The vicious animals in that yard.
The yard's empty.
There's cougars.
There are no cougars in that yard.
You haven't met Miss Adams.
Quit being a baby and just go get it.
Well, why has it gotta be me?
Because you threw the ball.
Alright, fine. Jeez, I'll go get the ball.
Just give him back before dinner, Miss Adams.
No!
Whiskey, there is a pile of books here right next to the laptop.
Oh, yes.
Story of the world, story of the world, story of the world, story of the world, and then a curious one that says, totally irresponsible science.
And the one below that is the dangerous book for boys.
You just bought a spear. The other day you bought a pair of gloves off my friend. Should I be worried about you?
No.
Nope, still gonna be worried.
Oh, well, those books are for my coworker. She's got her kids, and she was asking me about the homeschooling gig. And she was interested in history, so I'm bringing her the history books, plus a couple extra ones that for her son.
You were homeschooled?
I was.
Huh.
Doesn't it show?
Lucky.
Doesn't it show?
No.
Oh.
You seem relatively normal and put together. Oh. I get it now. Frankly, I think that if we could just do away with the whole schooling thing and do it all online like they had in Ready Player One, then we would just solve the world's problems. No more of this, these school bullyings and fightings and all that. Just done.
I disagree. And mostly because when I did the online learning, I didn't learn anything.
That's because it wasn't as sophisticated. I'm talking about where the school itself is virtual, where the classes are virtual, but, a little more interesting.
I tried that in high school. It was awful.
They had virtual schools?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it was awful. It was awful, especially math, right? So when they put in the answer for a math problem, if you put in a decimal, or better yet, if you're a writer and you're like constantly putting a space at the end of whatever you write because you're preparing for the next word you're going to write.
Yep.
The program reads the space and marks your answer wrong, even if it's the right answer.
Very snippy program.
Yep.
Maybe they've had time to correct things.
That may be. It's been about 10 years.
You know what I learned typing on?
What did you...
Mario Teaches Typing.
Mario teaches... I had,
My parents made me stop because I was having too much fun.
What was that woman's name?
Mavis Beacon.
Mavis Beacon teaches typing.
Oh, that's what we went back to. It's just, they got me the Mario thing, but it was like, this is clearly a video game. And if it's a video game, that means it's fun. And if it's fun, it's not learning. I'm just having flashbacks now.
It happens a lot.
Increasingly today, I said, referencing a movie I don't want to admit I've seen. All right, well, thank you everyone for listening. We have a horrible storm to prepare for, hatches to batten, and windows to board up,
Yes.
and levee to hold, and what are other storm-related things? And in case anyone invades your house, you have your handy new spear.
Oh, yes. Among other weapons.
Yes, we've discussed. I'm looking at some of them right now, and apparently there's magic in this house, which I totally get.
Oh, yeah.
And coyotes patrolling the perimeter.
We're protected on so many fronts. It's not funny.
And yet, it kind of is. Thanks for listening, everyone. I am your friend Frosty.
And I'm your bartender. Well-armed bartender. Mike Whiskey.
Gosh. And as always,
Have a cold one on us.
A spear. Why? A spear. Why? Was it just like shining in a shop window?
No, I got it online.
That doesn't make it any better.
This podcast was recorded at and produced by Cape Media Center on Cape Cod, Massachusetts by podcasting duo Mike Whiskey and your friend Frosty. All music and sound credits go to soundstripe.com. Special thanks to Jamie Horton, Emily Tulloch, Gabrielle Rawson. For more information on Bourbon on Ice, visit our social media page at twitter.com/whiskeyfrosty. For more information on Cape Media Center, visit capemedia.org. For more listening options and a variety of podcasting entertainment, visit our hosts at buzzsprout.com and capemediacenter.org.